You guys.
Mukotoni wakaya, yonalelo. Mukotoni wakaya, niwakaya pia waona lavanda. Oh yeah, yonalelo. Oh yeah, niwakaya pia waona lavanda. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Chambe shinapo, yonalelo, oh Dechitashani newalubo oh yeah. No.
Our viewers, wherever you watch, I'm sorry, we're having an echo. Just hold on. Anybody in the audience, can you hear me clearly? Please.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. I couldn't hear you.
Okay. I'm trying to get rid of the echo. Yeah, the echo is still
Okay.
there. Let me just plug it out and in.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Are we getting any echo?
No.
Yeah, Davis, are you getting an echo? The echo is still there. You know what I'm gonna do, Sibo? I'm gonna come out and then come back again. Just let me see what's gonna happen.
Okay. All right. No problem.
Just stay there. I'm gonna leave the studio and then.
And then you log back in. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Testing 1 2 3.
I can hear you. I'm not getting an echo. Are you getting an echo? Is it still there?
I'm not getting an echo from you, but there's an echo from myself. And some people are saying volume.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Somebody is saying
Somebody
perfect.
is saying perfect.
Okay. Great.
Okay, we are not going to
Okay,
avoid
we are
that
not going to
echo. I don't
avoid
know
that
what has
echo. I
happened
don't know what
today.
has happened today.
One of
Yeah,
those days.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies
Okay,
and
ladies
gentlemen,
and
wherever you're
gentlemen,
watching
wherever
us
you're
all over the
watching us
world,
all over the world,
Your sound has gone.
can you
Your
hear?
sound has
Can you hear?
gone. No. I
Can you
think you
hear
can
me?
put.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, but Yeah, that
But
echo is still
that
there.
echo is still there.
Anyway, there's nothing we
Anyway,
can do.
there's nothing we
It
can do.
might go.
It might go. It
If you
might
got
go.
any
If you got
devices
any
nearby
devices
you,
nearby you. Maybe the TV. Could it be the one causing the echo?
yes. If there's any
Yes. If
gadgets
there's
which are
any
on
gadgets
there,
which are on there. It's only the TV.
maybe if we can switch it
Maybe if we
off.
can switch it off. Okay, just give me a minute.
And the other way of doing it also,
hello.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The other way of doing
The
it,
other way of doing it,
we need to switch off
you
your
need to
mic.
switch off your
You know
mic.
how to switch off
You
the
know how
mic.
to switch off the mic.
So when I'm talking, you switch it off. When you're talking, you put it on. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So I'll be muting when you're talking, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
okay,
Can you
that's
mute
fine.
now, please?
Now. Okay, let me do that.
Okay, testing. 1, 2, testing. So there's no echo now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our fellow Zambians, wherever you're watching us all over the world, welcome to this special edition of TV Bakwetu. Today, we'll be talking about developing Zambia through small and medium enterprises, what they call SMEs. And today, we've got one of our guests here. Her name is Mrs Sibongile Ziwa Mwambazi, uh, known as Sibo. So I'll be calling her Sibo on this program. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna introduce Sibo. I'm gonna ask Sibo to introduce herself first before we can start the program. Sibo, welcome to TV Bakwetu, and please give us
That's
a summary of
a
your
summary
bio.
of your bio. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone who's watching all over the world. So my name is Sibongile Ziwa Mwambazi. I am a cake artist, I'm a mother, and I'm also a life and transformational coach. So that's all about Sibo in a nutshell.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you so much,
thank you
Sibo.
so much, Sibo.
Can you please
Can you
mute
please mute
yourself?
yourself?
Yeah. Once we start, I'm gonna put you on the spotlight. But for now, let us keep it like that. Um, so as I've stated earlier, we're gonna talk about small businesses. Yeah. And the topics of our discussion today is women entrepreneurs in Zambia, like Sibo, the challenges facing SMEs in Zambia, including accessing finance they need to develop and grow their businesses. And then we're also going to talk about what is the role of the government, the civil society, the businesses in promoting and supporting developing SMEs. Just an introduction. Why are SMEs so important in both developing and in developed and developing nations? So we're talking about Europe, America, including Africa. Just an example, the European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, which is equivalent to Development Bank of Zambia or Africa Development Bank, EBRD, believe that creating the conditions for SMEs to thrive is fundamental for sustainable, inclusive economic growth. A vibrant SME sector is a vital ingredient in a healthy market economy. SMEs, these are damning statistics. SMEs make up over 99% of the total number of businesses across the countries where EBRD work, which means Europe. Most of the European countries, 99% of the organizations are called small and medium businesses. So this is how important these businesses are. And today we will just be talking about Zambia and Zambian entrepreneurs. And SMEs are responsible for large contribution to value added and employment. They also play an important role in political economy, helping to promote and strengthen reforms. Politically, a thriving SME sector empowers and grows a very strong middle class. So there is no economy in the world that will survive without a very strong middle class. Our new Dawn government or administration has demonstrated the importance of this sector, the SME, in developing our economy by introducing a new ministry which has never been in Zambia, called the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. Welcome to our program once again, Sibo. Now we're going to go into the question time. So the first question, Sibo, is: can you please give us your
Give us
your mini bio,
your mini
which you
bio,
have done? Can, can,
can,
can you
can,
mute
can
yourself?
you mute yourself?
Have unmuted.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
unmute
So then
when
unmute when
yeah. Can you please
yeah.
give us
Can
a
you
mini
please give
bio
us a
which
mini
you've
bio
done,
which you've done
and
and
talk about
talk about
what you've done,
what
your
you've done,
qualification,
your
your training, your
qualification, your training,
experience,
your experience,
and
and
what businesses do
what
you do in
businesses
a
do you
nutshell.
do in a nutshell.
Okay, so like I had earlier introduced myself, I am a cake artist. Um, I run a company, a cake business, which is called Sibo Sensational Sweets. So my passion started just a few years ago, and through the through the passion of me baking, I decided to to further my skill by doing different courses to do with sugar craft. So the first course that I did was the master class for sculpting and modeling, and I did it with one of these renowned sugar artists from Nigeria, Divas Pride Weddings and Cakes. And then I went on to do another sugar course with a lady who's based in the United Arab Emirates by the name of Benate Flores Perez. So I did a bit of sugar craft and isomer techniques. And besides that, I have a passion for helping people discover themselves. So I came up with this page, which is it's for now because I've done coaching, I've done NLP, and I'm a life coach, certified life coach, and neuro linguistic programmer. So I run this page, which is Transform Reform. It's all about helping people discover themselves by creating awareness around their self identity, self confidence, life goals, and core values. That's about what that's what I'm doing for now.
That's fun. That's fantastic, Sibo. Let's move on. So, Sibo, there are a lot of people, like most of us, we do work, and most Zambians, they they think their job is their security, and they don't want to leave their jobs and start their business. So what inspired you to leave the comfort of your job, because you were working according to your bio, and start your cake and coaching businesses? Over to you.
Okay, so I always like to say most people, it's either you are settling for what you're doing, or you are you love what you're doing. So some people call it work. I think work is something that gives you passion, something that drives you to do something, while a job is something that you're doing to earn a living, to just to get by, so that you have money on the table at the end of the day. So with me, yes, I used to work. I worked for Mulungushi Conference Center, and I worked for Chainama Hotel. And the more I went for work, I think I wasn't really getting fulfillment. So there was a time when I just said, I think this is not making sense. Let me just do let me just do something. And my passion was food. So it was a risk, yes, and I believe life is about taking risk. If it fails, try something else. If it works, well and good. So for me, I just had to go out there and take the risk and say, okay, let's see where this goes, because I wasn't really fulfilled in my job. So I just decided I just had to take a leap of faith and just go by and just throw myself in the you just take that leap of faith and say, let's see where this is going to go. So that's how I started with my journey on becoming a cake artist.
That's
That's
fantastic.
fantastic.
And then, Sibo,
And then,
why do you call last time when we had a chat, you didn't want to be called a baker, you want to be called a cake artist. What's the difference between somebody who makes cake and a cake artist?
Mm. Okay, so a baker is, I know there's some science that is involved in baking, and there's so many things that are involved into baking, but anyone can bake. So it's about mastering your art, having that niche. So a cake artist is somebody that transforms a conventional cake. What I mean is that an ordinary cake into something extraordinary, because they use their artistic and creative skills. So for me, from the time I started baking, I noticed I was able to know my niche, because anything to do with crafting, curving, modeling was what really made me feel like, okay, this is something I'm doing. I just don't want to look at a cake and just cream it. I feel I can do something more to it, and I kind of like to add a personality about the person you're making for. You attach their personality, and you figurative. I hope you know what I'm trying to say. You create something in your head and you attach it to who they are, their characteristics and personality, and you present it through cake. So that's why I call myself an artist, because I transform an ordinary cake into this piece of art.
That's fantastic. Okay, let's move on now. So you are an SME, a business, small and medium business. So what are some of the challenges small businesses like yours face in Zambia? Over to you.
Oh, so for small businesses, well, first of all, getting like if you want to expand your business, getting a loan, first of all, it will be so difficult because you're a startup business. And also, even though you have to ask for a loan from the bank, there's so many requirements that are needed. And if you're starting up, you might not have most of the requirements because this is when you're starting. So that's a minus because you won't be, you don't have access to financial help. And also, if you have to think of the interest loans, they are way too high for somebody who's just starting up a business, because when you get those in, when you're starting up something, you're not sure, you don't know, you can be optimistic that it's going to work, but there's so many things that you have to consider. There's so many factors that you have to consider even when you're starting up a business. At times it might not go the way it's supposed to be. It might, your estimations and reality are two different things. So you cannot estimate that by this time my business will have grown to this level. So that's a whole different ballgame. So if you borrow money with a huge interest rate, you're just killing yourself, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you might not be able to pay back. And then again, if you think of the requirements that you're needed to access those loans, the collateral and other requirements, you might not just be able to meet them up. So it's really difficult for an SME to really get some financing. It's a tough one. You need to have the credibility, of course, that's one of them as well. So it's really tricky for for SMEs.
Yeah, that was fantastic, and also that was challenging. Yeah, it's true, because as a small business like you started not long ago. Where is your track record, or where is your your long term customers, or assets and other things? So it's not that easy. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, so let's move on. During our conversation, you mentioned that in Zambia in particular, maybe most African countries, you must have political connections to access government empowerment funds. So my question is, I'll break it into two. Guess this happened during the PF regime, in which business, the guess this happened uh, in uh, in the PF regime. Then my question is, if you try to access some of the funds, for example, the Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission under the new Dawn government?
Well, I would say yes. It's really been tricky to try and to access this economic empowerment funds. But from the previous regime, I think even from way back, it's really been a tricky one, because it's something to do with political affiliation. So I don't know, as of now, I have not tried. So I'm hoping that things are different now, that things have changed because there is a new regime. But in the past, it's really been tricky. If you're not connected, you don't know anyone. I mean, it's really difficult for you to even get your name to appear. It's been rough. It's been quite hard.
I 100% agree with you. Especially during it became worse during the PF government. I'm sorry to say that. That's why some of us, dropped everything, and we fought with everything to make sure that that regime left Zambia. But then there's still a lot of them in the system. So it's going to take a bit of time for, they're just 1 year in government. It's going to take a bit of time, but I would advise you, I'm told now that you can apply a small business like yours. You can apply up to 1 million kwacha without any collateral. And it's a pity I've just forgotten. I would have put their 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 website there. But if you Google, you go on Google, just Google CEEC, what do you call citizen empowerment? What do they call it? Citizen empowerment.
I
Um,
think it's Citizen
Citizens
Empowerment
Economic
Fund,
Empowerment Commission.
Empowerment Fund. Oh, it's
Yeah,
commission.
yeah. So if
Mm-hmm.
you go on Google and just put that word Zambia, it will give you the website. I'm told now you don't have to go to their office. You can just apply, because this is one of the problems. The moment you start meeting people, then it becomes this time now I'm told you just apply online, and if they approve your loan, they'll give you a loan, but you need to have a very good profile or business plan. So maybe you need to start working on that now, creating a good profile business plan, you know. And there are a number of people who can help you. Some, yeah, I'm in accounting, I'm in business. If you want some help, we can help you. But I'm told things have changed now. If you're good, like your business, there's a huge chance that you can get up to 1 million kwacha without any collateral, very good interest. And I think you pay after 5 years. Yeah, you pay in 5 years, which is very good. So maybe try that. I'm so sure that things have changed. Things have started changing, though there's still bad elements in the system. Let's move on. And then the second part of that question, there is also what is known as CDF. Have you tried to form a cooperative? Have you ever thought about forming a cooperative with other female entrepreneurs and access CDF?
No, we haven't. It's something that we're working to do as the Z Bakers, as we call our corporation. It's something that's in the pipeline.
Actually, what you talked about, I wanted to ask you. You know, if a number of bakers, very good bakers, come together and form an alliance, you stand a big chance of getting CDF or CEC, because you're a group and you've got different skills. So maybe try an alliance with other bakers and the other cake makers or bakers, and then come together and try to see if you can access fund either through CDF or um, or Citizen Economic Empowerment Commission, CEEC. So let's move on. So my next question is, how many how many and what type of businesses do you run? Just in a nutshell, explain what you do, you know, in those businesses.
I only do one business, the same cake making, though I've diversified, because apart from apart from just baking for different occasions, wedding cakes, I also offer some training for people who want to learn how to bake. I do that. I teach them. And there's, in the baking industry, there's what we make sugar flowers. So that's also a niche that I've mastered. So I also offer training for those who want to learn how to make sugar flowers, because there's something about being artistic and just being real when you look at flowers than using artificial flowers. So I also train on that, besides the cake making, learning how to decorate, and I'm working on writing a book, a recipe book, because with time I've been working on my recipes, my cake recipes. So now I'm thinking of writing a book which can be on the market, so people in their own time they can try out the recipes than always wanting to come and buy. They can try it from their homes. So for that's what I'm doing besides my coaching, because I also do coaching sessions, like I had said. For the other part that I do, the coaching lessons, helping people discover themselves, know who they are, and stay true to themselves. So I also offer some life coaching sessions, which sometimes we do it one-on-one, and sometimes we tend to do them via Zoom, because life has become busy, has been made easier, so you don't always have to be there. You can still communicate the way we're doing. So I also do that.
That's fantastic, Sibo. And let's move on. And the next question is, uh, where were you trained to make cakes?
So I had earlier alluded that I learned from these two people. There was, let me say, I trained under White Line, because she's the one who organized to have those people come over to Zambia. So the first training was with Divas Pride Weddings. It was a master class by Patricia Atake. She's a very renowned cake artist in Nigeria. So I did that. So I got my certificate in master arts and crafting techniques. And then I later on went on to do another sugar craft, which was to do with sugar craft and isomat techniques, with Philippine lady, but based in the United Arab Emirates. She's Benate Perez Flores. So she's also very skilled, and she gets to be judges in Food Network. For those who watch Food Network in the bakery section, there are times that she gets to be one of the judges. So I trained under her when she came to Zambia. She was, yes, so the training was done at White Line. It's an entrepreneurship school based in Woodlands. And the founder is Gwen Chilufya. So that's where I did my training from.
That's fantastic, Sibo. But Sibo, you also mentioned, apart from making cakes, which I know you sell them, but you also mentioned you teach people, um, on something like sugar or something, and then you also mentioned about life, being a life coach. Do you charge people for those other other work you do?
Yes, you have to attach value to everything that you do in life, because most people will never appreciate free things. So I do attach a price to it. You see, yes. So I charge for them.
And then in terms of coaching, what kind of coaching, and how does it benefit somebody, like somebody who is in business? Is it tailored for business people, or just for general life coaching skills?
So for the life coaching skills, it's not tailored for business people. I am a life coach because there are so many people who don't really know what they are born to do, because of circumstances that they went through. Sometimes even your background, your environment affects who you can become. So many people, and also social identity, because you always want to live by what the society dictates to you on how you're supposed to live your life. So there's so many people who really they don't even know who they are. So I help them to express their true selves. I help them through the journey of self-discovery so that they come to know who they are, because once you have an identity, you know who you are. It's easy for you to know where your purpose lies. So it starts with knowing who you are, because your identity is tied to your purpose. But if you have a misidentity or you don't know who you are, it's really difficult for you to know what you're supposed to do, where your passion lies, who are you, in short. Helping people to know themselves, to know who am I, what was I born to do, what makes who I am. So that's the life coaching, that those are the sessions that I help people. I connect them with their true selves by creating awareness around their self-identity, their self-confidence, life goals, and core values.
That sounds very powerful, Sibo. You know, with me, I think what you're talking about is what I needed some decade or so ago. I was still a Christian, but I didn't know what my purpose was until I read a book which changed my life. You should know the book. It was written by Pastor Rick Warren. It's called Purpose Driven Life. That book talks about knowing your purpose, and that book is a life changing book. So, I guess what you're teaching is similar to what Pastor Rick Warren has written in that book. So that's fantastic. Um, let's move on. And then, Sibo, you make cakes. Then there are different types of cakes. So what kind of cakes or types of cakes do you make, or occasions? Obviously cakes are for occasions. Maybe, for example, birthdays. What kind of other cakes do you make?
So I make cakes for all occasions, whatever event, be it birthday, celebration, anniversary, wedding cakes, and also desserts for functions, the dessert table. I do that as well. But my niche is fondant. So I love working with fondant because fondant is easy to work with. It's very pliable. I know it might sound Greek to somebody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, but it's really easy to work with because you can make any shape out of it. So my niche is fondant. So I really enjoy working with fondant cakes because I can make anything. I can imagine something and express it through cake. So all types of cake, though my niche is fondant. Yes.
That's fantastic, Sibo. We moving on. Looking at your cakes, it appears that you well trained, you know, you know, to make, I think you've got a niche market for those cakes, or you've got a niche for art. So my question is, what are your future ambitions in terms of developing your skills? And okay, let's just deal with that. What are your future ambitions in terms of developing skills
Ambitions
and also
in terms of
helping
developing
other
skills
people?
and also helping other people.
So my future ambitions in the next 5 years training. So I'm praying that I can open up a school which is going to train people who are creatives like myself. I I help them to come up with whatever you can imagine and express it in cake. That is where I want to go because I want to what I would want to know to do is to go and get a degree in sugar craft and modeling techniques, so that from there I'll have all the knowledge. I already have some, but I want to increase on my knowledge so that when I open that school, I'll know what exactly I can focus on in terms of artistic work. So those are my future plans.
That sounds fantastic. I think you've answered my next questions, because I was trying to ask you about passing the skills to you. Really look like a leader, and usually leaders groom their successors or pass their skills to some other people, which you have just mentioned, which is fantastic. So let's move on. So you are a lady in business. There are so many women. There are very few women who are in business who have even got companies. You know, like yourself. What is your encouragement to other women who would love to venture into a niche market like yours, and including other men who thinks working is the only security they can have? Over to you, Sibo.
Okay, so I believe not everyone is wired to be an entrepreneur, because some people are meant to just work. That's my theory. And there's some people who can't just stand working for somebody. They believe they can build an empire working for themselves. So there are two types of people. So it depends where you are. So for those who would want to go into business, you really have to do a there's a word I'm looking for, to introspect. Like,
Yes.
is it really, yes, is it really what I want to do? Because there are times when, because your friend is making money, they are doing business, and you think you can also try and do that business. It doesn't work like that. It has to be something that is already in you. It's a passion that's in you. Because if it's something that you're passionate about, it will never tire you. You won't get fed up of it. It won't be about the money. You won't do it because of the money that you're making, because it's the passion that drives you. So if you know what you're doing, you're settling for what you're doing and not doing what you love, I think the best thing is try and gain the experience. Add talent is not good enough. You need to add skill and expertise to your talent for you to be relevant, because just operating on talent, it is not good enough. So when you get the experience, master your skills, and the necessary training, I think you can just launch out. Just launch out and believe that you're going to do it. That's if you have that driving force, you have the passion, and you're not doing it because you saw somebody doing it and they're making money. It's really coming from the bottom of your heart, then go for it. Though if you're working, you really have to put certain things in place, because just stopping your work and you think your business is just going to boom like that. No, business is a process. You need to be consistent. You need to have the patience. You put in the hard work, and it begins to pay off. So it's not something that happens overnight. It's a process that you have to follow, and with time, it pays off with time. You just have to be persistent, be consistent, and put in the work. That's my encouragement. But it has to come from here. Because a lot of people like doing things because they've seen somebody doing it. They don't even have any interest in it. it doesn't work like that. It will stress you and you end up regretting all the decisions that you've made. Thank you.
So, in essence, what you've said is it has to be a calling. And if it's not a calling, you might not do it. I think it's every business, even a career, has to be a calling. You know, you know, otherwise you won't be able to, you won't have the grace to do it. Yeah. Let's move on to our last question. I can see our viewers are liking your cake and they love your skills. And how can our viewers find you or buy your beautiful cakes or be coached by you? How can they find? How
How
can
can
they
they how
get
can
hold
they
of you?
get hold of you?
And before you answer that
And before you
question,
answer that question,
our viewers, you can. I've posted how you can contact Sibo on Facebook and YouTube everywhere, so you can see the contact details. And not only that, while Sibo is talking, you know, the email address, the phone numbers will be scrolling down there. You can get the phone numbers and the email address. Sibo, over to you.
So I'm on Instagram, Siwa Sensational Sweets. I'm on Facebook, Siwa Sensational Sweets. And my email is siwasensationalsweets@gmail.com. And we are in Rockfield, Chalala. For those who are in Zambia, that's where we are situated. And I'm sure there's my number scrolling down there. You can get that contact detail as well. So that's about where you can get me from.
That's fantastic, Sibo.
Sibo.
Um, let's look at
Let's look
some
at
questions
some
from
questions from
let's look at let's look at some questions from our viewers. This one, it says my niece does that, but Kitwe demand is low prices for our cakes. What would be your advice, Sibo?
So for me, I believe if you're good, everyone has their own target market. So it's about targeting yourself. Who are your target market? So once you know the value that you bring and your target market that you want to attract, it's easy to do that. Because I remember when I was starting up, yes, because you want people to have confidence and trust in you, my prices were low. But with time, because people really appreciated my work, and they said, I wish we could have a lot of people who are creative. There are so many people who are creative, but the market for certain types of cake hasn't grown. So for me, I told myself, this is my target market, because I know what I've invested in my craft. In me getting here, I've invested quite a lot, and I am not going to settle for less. And when you tell yourself that, I think people, when they see your work, I mean, of course, the cake has to taste nice, because the cakes, it's so beautiful from the outside, the inside is something else. I've worked on both, and I've been able to get the target market that I'm comfortable with. So it's about working hard to get a certain type of market. So you have to weigh, you have to tell yourself what is your target market. So if you know the target market you're targeting, then you'll be able to work towards getting that level you want to be at. So also location matters, because again, you can't be in a very low, the location, let me just say location matters. In everything, your location is number one. So if your target market does not allow for the location you're in, I think it becomes tricky. It's very tricky. So location also plays a bigger part in attracting a certain type of clientele.
I could see,
I
Sivo, you
could
were
see
getting
you were
deeper now.
getting deeper now.
You started talking about what we call five forces in business administration, and also you're talking about niche market. So in essence, what you were saying is, for you to get the best customers or the customers you need, you have to create a niche. And it looks like you've got a niche market. And yeah, so for our viewers, if you want to know, you know, want to buy cakes from Sibo, or you want to learn how to make cakes, or coaching, life coaching, with the numbers are everywhere. The numbers are on Facebook. You can see them. They're scrolling on the screen. Please get in touch with Sibo. Some of the young people who are watching, you'll be wedding, or somebody who's wedding, please contact Sibo. And Sibo, there was a question. I don't know whether Davis is one of our regular um, uh, is one of our regular viewers, Vakwetu viewers, and also another regular viewer I want to talk about is Mary Kingdom Changer. She's always there. The one was saying her sister, makes cakes in Kitwe. But Davis also is one of our regulars, and Davis is asking a question: who does your delivery? Maybe Davis is interested in delivering your cakes.
Okay, so I have contracted this taxi driver who does my deliveries, because I can't do them myself because I'm busy working on some cakes. So there's a guy who I've contracted who does my deliveries. And it's at a fee depending on the location. So within my area, within my locality, it's free. That's how it is. So when you're not within my charge attached.
You never know, Sibo. Maybe Davis is interested in delivering your cakes. Davis, if you are interested and you've got good prices, you, take a chance. Contact Sibo. The numbers are everywhere. And then Sibo also, you know, I've been in Lusaka, so many places in Zambia. I've never found. Imagine, don't you think about opening a shop in Lusaka, in one of the shopping malls, and sell your products? Over to you, Sibo.
Well, more, we are renting a house. You know why? Because of the training, because of so many things that are going on. With a mall, that would be so difficult, because, like, a house, you take up all the rooms and there's so much that is happening. So the other side, you're baking, you've got a class teaching, and the other side, you're making flowers and all that. But I don't think in a mall it means it's going to be on the higher side when it comes to rentals. So a house has worked out perfect for the kind of business that I'm doing, besides from just baking. Yes.
Yeah, that was a good answer, Sibo. But it's, to me, we're talking about in future. The more you grow, you might grow to the extent that you need a place like that. But anyway, let's move on. There's a question there, Sibo. Can you read it? How much does Mrs. Sibo charge to teach people to learn how to be a cake artist? You see now, they even know your terminology now. Over to you.
So, like I said, I'm working on getting a degree in sugarcraft, which will just set me apart to another level where I'll be able to teach certain techniques in cake artistry. So for now, what I'm teaching for now is just beginners baking class and wedding class for wedding cake classes. Yes, and flour making, sugar flour making, because I know with what I've learned, I'm able to teach. I just need to have the confidence enough, because I know when I do that degree, I'll be at another level and I'll be confident enough to teach certain techniques. So for now, it's just the basic techniques. But if you really want to go into artistry, I haven't started offering those lessons.
There's another question there. Are the classes online? I'm very much interested. This is Olive Grace, interested in making various cakes, various kind of cakes. Um, um, Grace, before Olive, before Sibo answers, we have put email addresses, phone numbers, how to contact Sibo, and Sibo, over to you.
So the online classes, I'm working on them. For now, I do physical ones. So they are one-on-one. So that's my answer. For now, I'm not offering online classes, but I'm working on it. For now, it's one-on-one physical classes. So you have to be present. Yes.
There was a question you were dodging, but it still comes to you. Some people asked, how much do you charge for your cakes? And also, how much do you, Mary Kingdom Changer, who is sh- she's never missed any of my shows. I think in the last 1 year or so, I've done over 50 shows, and Mary is always there. Thank you so much, Mary, for your viewership. Um, we had a program yesterday. Mary was there. A show yesterday with Dr. Kajila. We were talking about lifestyle diseases in Zambia, what they call diseases of affluence. Mary was there, and Mary was so furious that the moment she started enjoying the program, I started talking about winding up, and she doesn't like it. So I'm scared of talking about winding up now because Mary won't be happy. So Mary is saying, how much do you sell the cakes? And then somebody also asked, how much do you charge for the training, both for life coaching and basic cake making? Over to you, Sibo.
Okay, so kindly get in touch with the number scrolling down there, or you can send an email and then I will tell you. For cakes, the prices are different. So just get in touch. Give me a shout or send me an email. Whichever way, let's start talking.
That was a good
That
question,
was a good question.
Sibo. That was a good answer, Sibo. Now Davis has said it. He asked about. You remember the guy who asked about delivery? Who does your delivery? Is looking for opportunities. So Davis, before Sibo talks, I would encourage you to contact Sivo. The numbers are there. You've seen the numbers. I've posted them on Facebook, on YouTube, so they are there. But Sibo, what can you say? What sorry, Sibo, what can you tell Davis, who is one of our regular viewers? Over to you, Sibo.
Sibo.
Okay, so opportunity. Okay, let him get in touch, because with the guy that I've involved for my deliveries, he's given me really good prices. So if you can compete, it's about competition. So yeah, if we can compete, who knows? Maybe we might bring you on board.
Sibo, can you see how Mary loves this program? She's at work now, but she's watching. Yeah. So there's a question for you, Sibo. How quick is your email reply ratio? Over to you.
It's very quick. That I can assure you. It's very quick.
To the comment by the same Davis.
Mm.
Yeah, Davis is saying access to capital in Zambia is needed badly. What are some of the things do you think needs to be done for, because this capital, even if it's needed badly, it's also very expensive. The interest rates are very, very high, and compared to here in the West, because here in the West you can get between 3 to 6% in interest rates, but in Zambia the interest rates must be so. What would be your, what would you expect? What is your expectation in terms of capital, or you know, do you think the government needs to do something to help businesses like you? Over to you.
Definitely, the government has to come in and help the SMEs. But one thing I strongly believe is that also small and medium enterprises should have a certain mindset. They should be able to have a mindset where they can build capacity, because you see what happens is that even when there's funding, this money comes, I don't know what, because of your mindset, instead of investing that money, of course there are very few who have the mindset of building capacity to build capacity for their businesses, but most of them, when the money comes, the funding comes, the first thing they're going to do is buy the latest car and just splash. So these things, I believe it starts with the mindset. The mindset to be able to handle certain monies and just build capacity for your business. So there is a small number of people who have that mindset to build capacity, but the majority, they don't. That's why, for me, I believe start with what you have, start with a little that you have, because it's the discipline that will make you move to another level. It's from there, it's the discipline that will make you grow to another level. That's my take on that.
Sibo, you've just given me the answer I was looking for. That was a fantastic answer. You know, in most countries, even in Zambia now, the government is doing that. The role of the government is not to create jobs or even to help people start SMEs. The role of the government is to create an enabling environment for people like you and me to live the comfort of our jobs and start small businesses. And countries like the States, the UK, and most European countries, they've realized that the SMEs are the backbone of every economy because they employ most of the people. So what the government does is, instead of dishing out the money, they work with commercial banks, because government does not do business. Government creates an environment. Government makes sure that interest rates are low, um, um, forex exchange are manageable, they are stable, inflation is low, and then work with commercial banks. Some of the, like the UK government, even guarantees loans for small businesses, because they know that small businesses don't have the capacity to raise money. They even negotiate low interest rates. So imagine Sibo, they tell banks, if Sibo came with a very good profile, good business, niche market in cakes, give Sibo a loan and we'll guarantee that. And sometimes they use what is known as Kwangos, NGOs, specifically helping small businesses. But then on top of that, you mentioned something very important called capacity building. A lot of Zambians think running a business is just waking up and start selling. You need to have the capacity, you need to have the knowledge, the skills to run that business. And that's why so many businesses in Africa, even in Europe, they don't survive because people don't have the necessary skills to run the business. And as the business are growing, you need more skills. And then another role of the government is not just to help you get the loans. Even banks here in the UK, banks, when they give a small scale business a loan, first they've tested to find out whether that person has got all the necessary skills to run the business and pay back the loan. So some banks they offer training, capacity building. Government also offer training. And I think that in Zambia they've started doing that. I don't know how easy for you to access that training. Because for somebody to survive in a business, businesses are very competitive, in some countries. They need to have the necessary skills. So they provide training, to improve your capacity, your capacity building. So that was a fantastic question. And we're now coming closer to the end of the program. Can you please give us your closing remarks? Anything you want to say before we close the
Okay. Okay, so my closing remarks will be true to yourself. Don't be in competition to try and do what your friend is doing. You have to know what works for you. Is it business? Is it um, is it being in a job, or I'd call it work, because certain careers it's work. Doing something you're passionate about. So yes, it's about being true to yourself. So if you really know what gives you that passion to do something, just go out there and do it. And most of all, you have to get the necessary training and the skills, because you have to be relevant in your skill in whatever you're doing, be it in your career, your business. You just have to have some expertise. That is what is going to set you apart, because just doing it because you have the talent is not good enough. Something has to set you apart, and what sets you apart is the expertise that you have. So those are my closing remarks. Thank you.
That was fantastic, Siwa. I'm just looking at Sinkala Gracewell. The idea of SMEs is the best. Creating of ministry is good, which I mentioned at first. But let our government walk the talk by helping small scale farmers and other small businesses. Must be done, otherwise, we still have a long way to go. So that's a comment from Sinkara Gracewell. There's another comment from Haggai Simoni. I understand your way of thinking. I don't know whether it's Sibo or myself, but here is a person with a lot of energy and skill, and also understand the fact not everyone can do business. So it's talking about you, Sibo. Well done. Yeah. So that's fantastic. So our viewers, thank you so much for your viewership. Sibo, thank you so much.
So much.
We've got we've got
Got
the echo there.
got the echo there.
Sibo, thank you so much for coming to the show. And next time, I think we need to organize a program. We just talk about your life coaching training. To me, I think is very important, because every person, that's what I believe. Even CEOs of organizations, they've got a coach or a mentor. So every person needs to have a mentor or a coach. That's the only way you can grow, you can develop, and also knowing your purpose. What you said is very, very important, because a lot of people behave the way they behave, or drink recklessly. They do things that they're not supposed to do because they don't know who they are. They don't know their identity. So knowing your identity results in knowing your purpose. And without knowing your purpose, you're doomed. You know, because knowing your purpose, then you know why am I living? Am I living just to wake up, drink, go to work, eat? Being alive or being born on this earth, you're born for a purpose. And a lot of people don't know that purpose. Not until you know that purpose, you lost. And that was fantastic. Thank you so much, Sibo, once again for coming. And our viewers, thank you so much. Mary, um, Kingdom Changer, Haggai, Davis, thank you so much for your viewership. And may the good Lord bless our beloved mother Zambia. Good night and bye
Good
for
night
now.
and bye for now.